a fun Halloween decoration for treats, for kids, for office workers, for your table settings, whatever you choose. This is Jonna with Purple Girl Crafts. Thanks for joining me. So I'm showing you this box right now. This box will hold candy or whatever you want. It requires no die cuts, just a bunch of cuts with your regular trimmer and your scoreboard. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to need is we're going to need our scoreboard. And the first piece, this is going to be cut at 4x4. This will be the bottom of the box. And then we are going to score this on 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. So your piece should look like this. Then we need one piece. This is 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. And we're going to do the same thing. We are going to score this at 1/2 inch on all 4 sides, and this will be the lid to the box. So we're making it just a little bit bigger than the smaller piece so that it will fit on top. Then we're going to need 4 pieces, and these are cut at 1/2 by 3, and then we're going to turn it on the 1/2 side, and we are going to score these at 1/4 inch. So you're scoring them in half. And make sure they're lined up so that you get your straight line. Okay, so those 4 are done. Now we need 9 pieces, and these are cut at 3 by 3. And I did some, if you can see this wood grain pattern, I'll show you how I did that in just a few minutes. So that's all we need our scoreboard for, so let's move that out of the way. So next we're going to work on the wood grain. So I have the top and the bottom pieces. We're going to make the wood grain on the top, but before I do that, I'm just going to turn my bottom piece over, and I'm just going to put a light B on it, just so I remember that's the bottom piece. So with my tool, and this is a scoring tool, and it's got the rounded ball on the end, I'm just going to apply a little bit of extra pressure and just draw lines. And I just looked at a piece of wood just to get an idea. If you have wood grain paper, you wouldn't have to do this step, but I like just the personal touch of doing it and just creating your own wood grain paper. So as you can see, I've just done the first half. I'm going to turn it and continue with this. You don't have to turn the paper, I just wanted to see just a little bit better. You could add your knots like they show in wood grain. So just use your imagination. And I'm just going to do the full length of the piece of the paper. And I'm also going to do the edges, as this is the top of it, so they will hang over. Okay, so this is the piece that I created just by doing the wood grain. I'm not going to do it on the bottom, and then I already did all 9 of the other pieces. So I'm going to grab just a piece of paper so I have something underneath, and I'm going to just use some Distress ink, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color to this. This will help to bring out those lines and just give it just a little bit of color. So that's what the result is, and I'll hold one up just so you can see the difference. And then I'm going to do the rest of these now, the 9 pieces. I'm going to add just a little bit more just to this top piece. And then I'm also going to do it to the 4 side panels. And those are those 4 pieces that we cut that are 1/2 inch wide. So I'm going to move the ink out of the way, and then we are going to cut some windows on these. So I'm going to move stuff. I'm going to grab my trimmer. And then we are going to take the 3 by 3 inch pieces. We're going to line it up on the 1/2 inch mark. And then we're going to cut an inch or 1/2 inch border. So we're going to start at the 1/2 inch mark from the end and then go down to the 1/2 inch mark from the top. We're going to turn it, and we're going to do that on all 4 sides of this piece. can line this up with your mark, your cut that you already made when you turn it. And again, I like to start from the bottom so that my paper doesn't move, and then cut towards the top of the cutter. And this is what you should have. So you're going to have a 1/2-inch border all the way around. And I'm going to do that to all 5 pieces now. Okay, so I'm going to move the trimmer out of the way. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take the blank pieces that we have left that we haven't cut, and we're going to turn them upside down, and we are going to draw the opening on the back side of these. And that's just going to be a guide so when we do the cutout of the planks. So I'm going to do it on 4 of them and then the very top piece. So you should have the top and then 4 pieces for the sides. I'm going to grab my ruler just as a guide. You do not need to use a ruler. You can just make your planks. But you want about 5 planks from right to left. You want to make sure you're also following the wood grain that you have already put on there. And so I'm just eyeballing this and just making sure that I have about 5 planks on each one. And I'm lightly just drawing lines from where I'm going to go from front to end. So as you can see, from this will be 1 plank, 2 planks, and so on, till I have 5. Then what I'm going to do is take my blade, and we're just going to cut between those planks. So you want to cut from the line that you drew and down past the second line, just a little bit, just so that it extends but doesn't cut the paper. And again, you can make these any pattern. You can make them wide, you can make the gaps bigger. You want to do it so that you're cutting about 4 pieces out and having 5 planks on your piece. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it and I'm just going to cut them off just at the very end past that little pencil mark that we made. So then as I pull these out, you want to make sure that you get them cut all the way through. So then when I put this top piece back on, you can see now it looks like a wood crate. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the rest of the pieces, so the 4 planks plus the top piece. So now all of those are done. And when you glue these, you want to make sure that your lines are going in the same direction from the top to the bottom piece. I'm going to just grab some glue. And I'm using the quick grab glue just so that, just in case I need to reposition, I've got time to move it. Again, you want to make sure that your lines are going the same direction. And you just want to glue this so it is just on top. They're both 3x3 squares, so they should fit evenly. And then I'm just going to go over the back of it, just push that glue down. And if you want, now's the time to go ahead and erase any pencil marks that you did put on here. So that's one piece done. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to glue the other pieces down really quick. Now for the top layer, again, you want to make sure it's lined up inside the score marks that you had made because we haven't folded those down yet. I'm just going to make sure this is positioned just as even as possible. And then I'm going to push that glue down. Next, I'm going to take the bottom piece and the sides, and we are going to do all the scoring on these. So you're just going to fold those side pieces, the 4 of them, in half, and then just crease out that fold. On the bottom piece, we're going to do just a couple cuts. So we're going to cut it from one side on each end, and then just taper that in. And you're going to do that on top and bottom, both sides. And when you taper it, you're going to taper the tab, not the piece that's going to be showing on the card or the box. And then while I have my scissors, I'm going to do it to the top piece too. Same thing, you just want to cut to that first score mark and then taper the side. You want to do that on all 4 sides. It doesn't matter which side you do it as long as you do it on the same on both ends. Okay, so now my tapers are done. Now we're going to work on the embellishment. So I have just a tray of my stuff. I have some words I cut out: danger, caution. I also have these hands that I drew and cut out. I'm going to put those like the hands are coming out from the crate. So I'm going to glue those down. So I'm just going to grab my quick glue, and this is that glitter glue. I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to start with the eyeballs. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can just put the glue on there, and then I'm just going to take the white pieces, and I'm just going to push those down so they're showing between the cracks. And you just want to make sure they're just in the center as much as possible. I'm going to use my bone folder and just to push those down just to make sure that glue is grabbing. And then I'm going to take the 2 pupils, smaller hole punch using the black, just basic cardstock, and I'll glue those down. You can glue them on first, and I'll do that for the rest of them, or you can do it this way. And then again for the hand, I'm just going to put the hand, glue it just on the side, just like he's peeking out. And that's what I have done on this one side. I'm going to do all 4 sides and just decorate them differently. I think on this one I'm going to add the second hand on here. And this will probably be the front of the box. I'm going to put these on the lower plank just to make it look like he's just really peeking out of there. You can have fun with this. You can use different colored eyes. You could use any kind of Halloween decorations that you wanted. So I'm going to grab the next one. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out the 2 white pieces and my glue. I'm going to put the pupils on there first, and then I'm going to glue them to the back side of the box. And you could do this either way. I like to keep my stuff in a tray or a lid or something just so I have all my pieces and I don't lose them. So again, I'm just going to put these on. Just kind of lining them up, see where I want them to go, and then I'll put glue on the box. I'm just putting a small line of glue on the top and the bottom, and then I will flip these over and then just glue them down. And you can kind of wiggle it and make sure that you can feel that the center has the 2 black pupils showing through. And you can put as many embellishments on here as you want. You can put more, you can put less. Just be creative. So in this piece right here, I'm putting 2 sets of eyes. I'm going to do it at the top and the bottom of the panel. So I'm going to take the 4 side panels and I'm going to finish decorating them with the embellishments. I'm going to do the signs that I made and then the eyes and then we'll continue making the rest of the crate. Okay, so now all 4 panels are done. So now we're going to work on the bottom of the box. So I'm going to take and I'm going to fold all these flaps in. And I'm just creasing them out with my bone folder. And then we're going to glue the tabs down. So I'm just going to use that quick grab glue again. And I'm going to glue the tabs to the inside of the bottom. And this will make the base for your crate. And you'll want to do that on all 4 pieces. Okay, now that is the bottom of the box completed. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the side panels and we are going to glue them to that edge. And we're going to glue 3 of them to start. And then these pieces that we had cut out, that we folded in half, these are going to be the side panels of the box to make it look more like a crate. So those are going to get glued to the sides. Just helps to add that little extra look of being a crate. So I'm going to glue my first piece down. I'm just going to line it up from end to end and line it up so it's at the very bottom, so it lines up at the bottom of the box, and then just press that glue down. And it becomes very sturdy with the 2 layers of the card now. So I'm going to glue the next side, and you can put these in any order that you want. You can make all 4 sides different. Now I'm just going to take this and make sure everything's going the same direction, especially if you have words on it. I'll line this up so that it's glued even with the box. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the last side. We want to just do 3 sides for right now. And we'll glue this final side on. And we just want to give the glue just a little bit of time to dry. And then once that's even, just go ahead, flip it over, and just press that glue down. And now for the side panels, I'm going to take the first one, I'm going to put glue on the entire thing, on both sides of it, just on the inside of it. And then we're going to take this and we're going to lay it just on both ends of that paper so that it lines up and closes the box. And the reason why we only did 3 sides is because I wanted to have room to make sure that I press those in. So if you did all 4, it'd be harder to make sure that they're lined up. So I'm going to take the next piece and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to put glue on both sides. And then we're going to glue that down, making sure it's lined up and both sides are grabbing onto that. And then go ahead and press your glue down. Now for the final side, what we're going to do is we're going to put the panels on first. So we're only going to glue one side down. You're going to glue it to the side that's already secured to the base. So I'm just going to line this up and glue just one side. Just squeezing that in, making sure that it is straight and lined up. And I'll take the last piece, do the same thing, only apply glue to one side. And then glue that so it's lined up with that piece of paper that's already attached, and secure that down. Then once all of this is secure, we're going to take this last piece and we're going to glue it down. So we're going to glue it inside these two panels. So the easiest way to do that is to put glue on all four sides of this, or all three sides, sorry. Get them out of camera shot, sorry. I'm just putting glue on that flap that's left over. I'm going to take the one side of the flap, and don't put it in this way, lift it up, lift up your flap, and then just line it up, and then make sure the bottom's secure first, and then you can secure those side pieces. Again, I just think this would be really cute for kids for a Halloween treat. And I'm just going to push that glue in one more time. And right now I'm just turning the box just to make sure that it's secure on all sides. Then we're going to set this piece aside just to let it dry, and I'm just cleaning up any glue just in case I had glue left that has come out on the sides. Okay, so that's the box part completed. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the top piece. Again, we're going to add some words to it, and we are going to add the eyeballs to the top. So this time I'm cutting out the sign danger. I am going to grab my ink and I'm going to just mark this up and just dabbing it just to give it just a little bit of color. It was a little bit too clean looking. And then I'm going to cut out just a couple other signs. Again, you can make these bigger, you can make them smaller. This is just the first go at this that I did. And I had a vision in my mind, so I decided to put this together and see how it would come out. So I'm adding one more hand on the top. I'm adding the eyes. And now the next thing I'm going to do is add this last danger one one of the signs that I had made. I'm just going to put it on the top in the center. And then we're going to take these sides and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold the sides down. And then we are going to secure the tabs so we can make the lid for the box. I'm taking my eraser and just erasing those marks because that's the top of the lid, so you will see it. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue these tabs down to make the lid. The glue I am using dries very fast, so I don't have to sit there and wait for it to adhere to the piece. So it makes it just a little bit easier. Okay, so that is the lid. And then this will fit. You have to wiggle it just a little bit, but it is just a little bit bigger, so it will fit on there. So that's it. That is the cute little Halloween crate that we made. I want to thank you for joining me today. I want to thank you for crafting along. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Until next time, happy crafting, be safe, and I hope to see you real soon. Bye-bye.